come out, but I just sold it.
Just sold 4 more. I mean, he has nothing else to do in life.
Well, actually, I don't.
Well, we are thrilled that you done. Thank you so much for all the beautiful stuff you write here. Gardner Dozois, everybody.
Well, as some of you probably know, I used to be for 20 years the editor of Asimov's science fiction, and I still edit the year's best science fiction, now to its 34th edition. My writing career was more or less over several years back, but recently in the last few months, for some reason, I found myself oozing out these weird little stories, and I'm going to read a couple of them to you this afternoon. This one is called Neanderthals. Oh, before I start, I have to apologize to Michael and Mary Ann.
Yes, absolutely.
Because they've already heard some of these stories in other readings.
Darn.
But I did promise Michael not to read in my story a dog story.
Good.
Which I'm not going to do.
I like that one. You're wrong.
And this story is called Neanderthals. I hate going up against Neanderthals. They have bigger bones than us, with room for more muscle attachments, which makes them a lot stronger than me. Even stronger than my augmentations make me. They also have fast twitch muscles, which makes their reflexes nearly as quick as my own. Don't believe that old picture of them as lumbering brutes. They move fast and are quite limber and agile. They also have remarkable stamina and a much higher pain threshold than baseline people, so they're hard to put down. An injury that would have an ordinary human writhing with pain on the floor won't stop them. They'll just keep moving at it. All this makes them good bodyguards, of course. And there were 2 of them guarding the armored door that led upstairs to the office where Mr. Shirillo ran his clandestine business selling exotic designer drugs manufactured in one of the Neanderthal areas. I got in about as close as I thought I could get using the camouflage bubble suit, so I popped it open, and a puff of interior air spilled out. As soon as it did, the bigger Neanderthal's head went up, and I saw his nostrils twitch. They have a better sense of smell than us, too, and he smelled good. Before they could react further, I stepped out of the suit and brought up the sawed-off. There hadn't been room for anything bigger in the suit, but I reinforced it to hold the heaviest rounds it would hold for maximum stopping power. They were just starting to move when I emptied both barrels, first shooting the bigger Neanderthal on the left, then tracking over to shoot his smaller companion. They both dropped. The smaller one was obviously dead, with his chest splayed open in what the old Norsemen used to call the blood eagle. But the big one was already back up on his feet. And I saw that he was wearing a vest of spider silk armor, something unusual for Neanderthals, who usually didn't rely on technology. The shock and pain of impact alone probably would have been enough to keep a baseline human down for a while, even one wearing a vest. But the Neanderthal seemed unfazed, the bastard, back up and ready for action. He was also grinning broadly at me. I dropped the sawed off and had my hand on the butt of my backup. I could see that he was armed too, with a heavy-duty pistol, but he was making no move to go for it, and something about that jaunty grin made me hesitate for a moment. Here's the part where you kill me or I kill you. He said in that mellow, singing tenor voice they have, which always comes as a surprise coming out of a Hulk like that, who you'd think would have a grumbling, growling bass instead. He winked at me, and it's not at all certain which way it would go, but I have a better idea. To my amazement, he very slowly drew his pistol from his holder, using only 2 fingers, and tossed it aside. Neanderthals don't much like guns as a rule, and I'm not particularly good with that, but I couldn't figure out what his strategy was in disarming himself, and that made me cautious. "Let's kill the old bastard together," he said joyfully. I never liked him anyway. And I've been tired of standing in front of this door all day, so he can fucking well consider me killing him to be my resignation. He winked at me again grinning. "I know you probably brought explosives to blow the door, but hey, that's a heady door. I know the door code." A few minutes later, we were drinking Irish whiskey together in a rundown bar around the corner. The place was old and shabby, the tables stained and scarred with graffiti initials, decades obsolete phosphorescence buzzing and flickering dimly overhead, empty except for a shriveled old bartender leaning propped against the wall behind the bar, eyes partially closed, either napping or reviewing all the mistakes he'd made with his life. It was a damp night, and I could hear a clock chiming somewhere, the sound carrying on the dank air. And my augmented hearing also picked up the iron scrape and slither as one of the immense Navy hovercraft pulled its way up out of the polluted water and oil slicks of the harbor and ghosted away across the land. The Neanderthal, he told me his name, but it was 16 or more characters long and all consonants, so I continued to call him the Neanderthal. Took a sip of his whiskey, swirling it around in his mouth like it was mouthwash, seeming totally at ease. I upped my metabolism and burned away the alcohol. With his huge body mass, there was no way I was going to be able to keep up with his capacity for movement without help. "Don't you care that I killed your friend?" I asked him with genuine curiosity. He shrugged. "Not particularly. We have tribal loyalty, not personal loyalty, which is what it's sometimes hard for you guys to understand. I would have fought to the death to protect him, since he was a member of the tribe. But once he was dead, I wasn't particularly upset about it." He wasn't a friend. I don't mourn him. I didn't even like him. He was a tribesman. He flicked his fingers dismissively, took another big swig of his whiskey, and leaned forward with the air of someone getting down to business. "You'll keep all the money for this kill, of course, since it was your job to begin with. But I expect to be paid, and paid well, for the next one. Who are you working for? Mr. Kang's mob? East Siders? The Swedes?" I laughed, and for a fleeting moment he looked disconcerted. "You've got it all wrong," I said. "I don't give a shit about Carastrello's drug business, and I don't work for a rival cartel. He had to die because of the people he was connected to, and the people behind them." The Neanderthal looked puzzled, and it was my turn to grin. "You see, I'm not a drug enforcer or a mobster. I'm a time traveler." He was frowning at me now. "You're nuts." I leaned forward smiling, as though I were about to import it with a secret pen, which I was, in fact, although it wouldn't make any difference. "There are 2 rival groups of us, call them armies if you will. us and them. We don't use fancy names. When we find someone working to the other side, we wipe them out. The other side retaliates, taking out some work. The idea is to interfere with whatever operation they have going, keep them from changing the future in ways we don't like. The Neanderthal snorted derisively. That's bullshit. In fact, it's the plot of an old paperback novel I read when I was still in the crash. Time travel is impossible. It doesn't exist. If you're feeding me this crap because you heard that tall tale about how they went back with a time machine and brought a bunch of us back to the present, that's crap too. We don't come from the past. We're the result of genetic manipulation, working with remnant DNA in the bloodstream and breeding for us, like they did with the mammoths. Matter of fact, I was whipped up at a crotch-knocked Gardner here, over by the spaceport. It was my turn to shrug and take a sip of whiskey, suppressing my automatic reflex of analyzing the components it was made from and concentrating on the taste, which was lousy. You were one of our recent failures, in fact. The other side wanted you for foot soldiers, and they changed things so that some scientists figured out how to bring you into the world. We tried to negate the change, but there were too many possible paths that led to your discovery, so we couldn't, and the world is stuck with you. As for that book, and a bunch of other old novels like it, some of us were worried about that, but we decided to ignore them. Nobody listens to writers anyway. Neanderthal was looking at me thoughtfully, as though he might be beginning to believe me. If all this is true, he said, sounds like your side is losing. I repressed a surge of anger, smoothing out my endocrine balance. Sometimes it seems like that to me, too. Well, I said, it seesaws back and forth. One side giving the advantage, and the other side. We'll see what we come up with to counter the advantage all you fucking Neanderthals have given them, since you're all working for them, one way or another, whether you realize it or not. I put my glass down, and even with limited artificial control over my limbic system, I couldn't entirely keep the anger out of my voice. We don't have your kind of tribal loyalty, us humans. Even augmented, enhanced cyborgs from the future. Well, we do, I guess. But personal loyalty is more important to most of us. After you assholes popped into the timeline, I was on a mission, and one of you killed someone very important to me, someone I love. I took a quick slug of whiskey, so I hate all of you, and since then I've made it a point to kill as many of you as I can, whether I'm on a mission or not. The Neanderthal looked at me. So I take it then, he said mildly, that we're not going to be working together. He was starting to slur his words, a symptom at long last. No, not by any means, I said. I already killed you. Upstairs, when we shook hands over the body of your big boss, there's a patch on the underside of one of my fingers that enables me to use DSMO to pump poison into your bloodstream. I shook my head. I'm amazed, by the way, truly amazed and truly impressed that you're not dead yet. I pumped enough into you to kill 4 men, and here you still sit a half hour later drinking whiskey. He started to do something fast and tricky, half-wise from his chair, but his muscles failed him, and he slumped back down again. I moved my own chair back a couple of feet, the scraping noise making the bartender look up for a second before he too slumped back into his former position. The Neanderthal could still do a lot of damage to me if he could get his hands on me. And now he knew he had nothing left to lose. But I wasn't going to let that happen. The Neanderthal was still staring at me, and I was having difficulty reading his expression. Sadness, disappointment. If there was fear there, I couldn't see it. I was pumped with an adrenaline surge myself, and I did my best to keep emotion out of my voice when I spoke, remembering that old saying about revenge being a dish best served cold. But I think this meant nothing to me more than stepping on a cockroach. You don't belong here, I said, speaking calmly and rationally. We hunted you to extinction during the last ice age, and we'll hunt you to extinction again. For all your brawn, we're better than you, smarter than us, more adaptable. We wiped you out once, we'll wipe you out again. He actually laughed. A lot of scientists no longer think that's what happened, he said, a quizzical expression on his big broad face. But it doesn't matter one way or the other. We survived in your bloodstream. He jabbed a blunt finger toward me. We're in there now, still. You are us, and we are you. We'll never be rid of each other. He fumbled for his glass to take another drink, one for the road, perhaps, and the ultimate sense. But his fingers were clumsy now, and he knocked it over, the liquid spreading slowly out across the wooden tabletop. Suppress us now, he said sadly. Kill all of us, it won't matter. We're hiding in your bloodstream, and we'll only come out again someday. His smugness infuriated me, in spite of Olympic control, and I was tempted to shoot him, splatter that bland face, but there was no point. He was already dead. Before I could say anything in response to refute him, he jerked as if someone had cut his strings all at once, and crashed forward, his head thumping solidly into the tabletop, splashing the spreading pool of whiskey. The noise had woken the bartender up again, and he blinked at me with gummy eyes. A bit too much to drink, Amos echoed. He'll be all right. I walked down a corridor in the back of the bar, toward the toilets. Then I whistled up a wall, walked through it, and was gone.
I was wondering if folks have any questions for Laura or Gardner, if you know if they were asked.